Hello, and welcome back to Violet Memoir. We are still at our lunch date with everyone. Let's call it that. Lily's wearing this attire. Sure, man. You do you. After a moment, most of the occupants relax. Only Lele continues to stare towards me, his green eyes still bursting with worry, but he doesn't press any further. At times like this, it's a blessing that he's so much more quiet than the rest of our group.
Trust me, after yesterday, I'll be surprised if Wallace could even remember what happened, instead of what we did.
That caused me to balk and frantically look towards the otter. The only thing awaiting me is his knowing expression, and I don't even need the burning sensation in my ears to know that they must be beet red. Yes.
Jesus, Oscar.
Lele's stoic expression breaks into a look I can only describe as offended. His brows are creased, and his mouth is barely hanging open, completely shocked that he said that. The only response he gets is Oscar looking over at him with an innocent look.
What? Oh, I only wanted to give Wallace a good time.
That's not the point.
That's kind of the point. It's the reason one of us took care of Wallace, after all.
Lucas's judgmental tone is jarring compared to Oscar's sultry one. Oh, what the fox did say, however, is much more confusing. Even Oscar looks surprised before an even wider grin crosses his face.
Are you saying you wanted to make sure Wallace had a great time? Make sure he was satisfied.
Lily's chuckle is quiet, and I can barely hear it as she muffles it with her hand. Lele, on the other hand, looks ready to interrupt, and put a stop to where this is going, but he's cut off by Lucas.
Obviously. We all wanted to. We would have done it all together if we could.
That breaks Lily, and her giggling transforms into a full-blown laugh. Oscar quickly joins her as Lele's entire body sags, unclear if he's disappointed or just exhausted. As for myself, I can feel myself looking towards the wall as my ears burn. It's at times like this that really makes me curse having white fur. Any flushing is easily seen through the almost transparent cheek fluff. The confused expression on Lucas's face shows that he's being completely left in the dark. Opening my mouth to explain, a glare from Lele makes me stop in my tracks. Looks like he doesn't want to give Oscar the satisfaction of corrupting Lucas's innocence. Instead, I just place a hand on his arm, rubbing it slowly in a reassuring way. Looking towards me, confusion is still evident in his expression as his ears droop and press towards his head. Don't worry about it. He's just teasing you.
Oh. I mean nothing bad by it, man. Just don't think you'd respond like that.
Oscar's response is barely recognizable when each word comes out between a laugh, and regardless of its innocence, insincerity, it's hard to make serious with that grin on his face, tears in his eyes.
Just ignore him, Lily. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Despite the annoyed tone of his words, Lele's pressed his lips together as if holding back a smile of his own. It looks like Oscar's antics even have an effect on Lele. Not that he would ever admit it or give him the satisfaction. He'd never let him live that down. Looking back towards Lucas, his expression has changed from downtrodden to bashful. His inner ears have become a deeper shade of pink, and he's playing with them as he looks down towards the table. But my attention is drawn to the feminine figure approaching our table, coming right up to the edge of our booth with a demeanor so bubbly, I wouldn't have guessed she was working as a waiter. Welcome to Snapping Jaws. We hope you enjoy your stay. We have a board above the bar with all of today's lunch specials. Would any of you like something to drink while you decide on your order? Oscar perks up with a sigh at the sight of the young waitress, a tall and lithe lioness with soft features. She looks to be in her mid-20s. The most striking thing about her is the enormous fish on her uniform, a colorful rainbow of fish swimming around her sea blue skirt.
Can I get a beer? Oh, hey.
Oscar leans away from Lele with a face closely resembling a hurt puppy. Lele doesn't look like he's buying it at all, his eyes squinting with suspicion. He doesn't look angry or annoyed, though, merely scolding like a parent would to their misbehaving child.
It's lunchtime. No alcohol. Water for me. Jesus, man. Fine. Ginger beer, then.
Oh, can I have a pink lemonade? I saw you guys did them earlier and they look super cute. Actually, bring me two. They won't last very long. Lily's eager tone is a great way to diffuse the awkward tension, and I can feel Lucas relax next to me. I didn't realize how tightly he had been wound up. Actually, now that I think about it, did he sit straighter as soon as he came to our table? It's as if he's rebuilding his walls to block out any strangers, like he did when I met him in class. Wanting to relieve as much tension as possible, I press my shoulder against his. He hesitates for a moment before leaning into my touch, and it's shocking just how fast he relaxes against me. The hardened expression melts away as quick as it came, and he even manages to bring a smile to his face. While his usual scowl fits him well, it's nice to see him with a smile every now and then.
Thanks.
It's a quiet whisper that I'm sure no one besides Lily and myself can hear. There's a happy hum coming from next to me, and I don't even need to look towards her to know that Lily's eavesdropping on us. Don't worry, just order what you like. She won't bite.
I know she won't. I'm not a child.
Despite his words, his body screams uncertainty, and he looks towards the waitress, whose smile's grown tight. Tighter than it had been when she first arrived. She likely didn't expect ordering drinks to take this long.
A root beer float. You do those, right? I saw some kids drinking some earlier.
There's a firmness in Lucas's eyes, an unflinching glare that almost feels like a challenge, like he's daring her to say something. I know it's not how Lucas really feels, but it's just how he comes across. So very hostile. She raises a brow at that, but only smiles and writes it down. With each tap of a pen of paper, I can feel Lucas's muscles relax. And I'll have a Coke. Cutting in as soon as she finishes writing it down, she gives me a big smile that someone took the initiative to speed this up, but I didn't. I did it just so she'll leave sooner. I think her presence is stressing Lucas out. Great. We'll get those out to you right away, and we'll take your order then. Thank you for coming to Snapping Jaws. And with that, she moves away from our table with a skip in her step that I can only assume comes from finally being able to escape our table. The feeling's mutual, even if she wasn't a bad person. With her gone, I lean over against Lucas, whispering in his ear quiet enough that I'm sure only Lily can pick up. You did okay. You looked a bit out of it there. Oh, you doing okay? That's what that says.
Yeah. Just get scared when I talk to someone I don't know. I have, people problems.
Not bothering to keep his voice down, Lucas's reply is loud enough for the rest of the table to hear with ease. Lily replies, but before I can, his voice is filling with the warmth that can only come from someone who takes care of a sibling.
It's okay to be scared of people. I know a lot of people who have trouble talking to people. Yeah, my best friend gets real bad around people. He's mute and gets extremely shy around anyone else. Sometimes he freezes up entirely.
Oscar cuts in with an upbeat tone, trying to brighten the mood even if the contents doesn't match the tone of his voice. Lucas looks at everyone with a confused expression like he didn't understand why everyone's talking the way they are. He opens his mouth to say something before shaking his head, and his neutral expression returns, aloof and cold.
Your friend's mute.
And just like that, all the tension shifts towards Oscar. The otter looks more than happy to take all of it.
Yeah, when we first met, he couldn't speak to anyone on the swim team. It caused some problems with Coach, but I gave him a hand, and now we're chill. He can whisper into my ear now. It helps a lot. He's a great guy. You guys would love him.
Lily looks ecstatic at that, leaning forward across the table with bright eyes. She looks so excited to make as many friends as she can, like she can't have enough. Oh, we're so different in that regard. This group are my only friends, and we've only been together a few days. I'm startled out of my thoughts by a sudden warmth on my left hand. It's got another hand laying on top of it, a very large one covered in light brown fur.
We're all friends here, all of us. Don't stress out the details, man.
I'm shocked as just how this hot and funny guy, could be so perceptive. How could he not only see something on my mind, but know exactly what it is? He wraps his thumb across my wrist. Despite how gentle he's resting his hand, I can feel the strength he has, and it causes me to shiver. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see Lele looking towards Oscar with a suspicious glare, but it's less pronounced than before. Lily has a smile on her face that she's hiding behind her hand, and Lucas is only focused on our hands. Eyebrows furrowed and head tilted. I wonder what's going on in their heads. Oh, what they're thinking of all of this. He pulls his hand away, but he lets his claw playfully trail down the gap between my fingers, a smile widening when I jerk my hand away from his, out of relax. Even without feeling the burn, I know my ears are flushed and my face isn't too far behind it. I expect him to continue, but he's still looking at me as if he's waiting for some response from me. But all I'm able to do is give him a nod. The only act I'm capable of in my breathless state, and knowing something to let him know I'm okay. I'm doing great, guys. I'm doing great. But it's true. I am okay. Or at least I'm doing better. I have friends and they care about me. Sure, they're new and I've only known them a couple of days, but they're the closest to friends I've had for a long time. So, I think we should carry on looking into what happened to Helena. Lily's voice pierces through everything, but it's kind and gentle, like it doesn't want to disturb the peace between us. This serenity, but has to. We all look towards her, surprised etched on the others' faces, probably my own as well. I have to completely twist myself to look at her. She only smiles back at us in return, unaffected by the confused emanating from us. I've been thinking about it, and I contacted our professor about the labs. He said as long as we can provide weekly reports that we can leave our Thursday class early if something happens to one of us. If, things get too hard. She's looking towards Lucas with a sympathetic glance. Her eyes soften than I've ever seen someone's eyes before. It reminds me of a new mother doting over a newborn baby. But under the table, she gives my leg a gentle squeeze. It's not suggestive or anything. It's comforting, as if the words are meant for me to. At this moment, I can't help but see Marcus in her. They're different, and they never showed this level of affection, but I know he cared about me more than he did about anyone else. Seeing him in her, it's bittersweet. So, as I was saying, let's do some research on it today. There's shuffling behind me, and then without a hint of shame, Lucas places his head on my shoulder. The warmth is a sudden shock, but I can't let myself get too startled. That will scare Lucas off. Oscar is waggling his eyebrows, obscenely towards us, but I'm going to, I'm going to just ignore him as much as I can consciously can, because I can feel the heat in my face and ears worsening whenever I feel Lucas's fur brush against the skin of, the skin on my neck.
We can go to the library. I know my own way around there pretty well.
I can see his expression, but the excitement in his voice is thoroughly charged up that I can't help but imagine his eyes wide and a little smile on his face, even if such a smile doesn't fit what I've seen of him. Lily only giggles in response, incredibly amused, but about something, and I really hope it's how cute Lucas is being and not the amount I must be blushing. That's the idea. We'll all go to the library and do some research together.
Will we find anything?
What do you mean?
This was a murder, not a historic event. We won't find any book on it.
Yeah, but there's computers littering the library for students to access in there. They seem like the smartest place to do it. I don't think any of us have a space at our own places for all of us to crowd in. I know I don't. Even without a roommate, my room is still significantly smaller than any place I've stayed before.
I don't even know the library had computers in it.
The smile drops off Lily's face, and she looks towards Oscar with a confused expression. The rest of us follow suit. Aren't you a senior?
Yeah, but it didn't mean I use the library much. I've only, gone there a few times.
That doesn't surprise me.
You don't exactly strike me as the kind of guy that reads a book that's not porn. See, this guy gets it.
There's a bristling of fur against my neck as Lucas tenses up. Something about that exchange must have made him uncomfortable because he shifts away from me. Oscar, I've been curious about, but what is your major?
Accounting. I'm doing a Bachelor's of Commerce. I got ordered a full ride scholarship if I went into law, but then I wouldn't have the time to swim, and I'm not down for that.
That stuns the whole table back into silence. With the attention now on Oscar, I'm able to face forward and see everyone once more. Lele looks the most surprised. His stoic mask nowhere to be seen as he hides. His eyes are wider than I thought possible. Everyone looks absolutely dumbfounded.
How did someone as dumb as you get offered a scholarship for going into law, no less? Right, I just want to swim. No need to complicate it with such a demanding major.
Accounting isn't exactly a walk in the park either. There's still a serious curriculum, and not even remotely on the same level as law, but you can't just sleep your way through it. Everyone's surprised at Oscar's declaration, even Lele still completely stunned into silence at the news, but no one's asking the important question. Why did you pick accounting instead of something less demanding? I had to cut myself off from saying anything specific and potentially pissing someone off, and no need to insult someone's possible major.
Thought it'd be a good degree if I need to get a proper job. I don't really care about accounting, but man, as long as I can swim, I don't care what I'm doing. You get? You get?
There's something off about the way that Oscar's talking about this. I'm not sure what it is exactly. I think he's telling the truth, but I also feel like I'm being lied to at the same time. The whole thing is so strange. I feel so stunned that I don't even notice the waitress has returned with our drinks until she asks for our orders. I hadn't even had the chance to look at the menu, but thankfully, Oscar makes a recommendation, so we're able to get back onto the topic as quickly as possible. What about you, Lucas? I don't think you're a freshman.
I haven't decided yet.
The response is fast, unnaturally so, even for the usually high-strung Lucas. It feels rehearsed. That causes Lily to frown, and it doesn't fit on her face at all. It causes me to look away, unable to handle such an expression on her. Looking over towards Lele, I catch him staring down at the table, but he lifts his head up at the sound of Lucas's reply. It seems like I'm not the only one who caught how unnatural that sounds. Alright, everyone, I will end the part here, so I'll see you around.